Hi, this is Chelsea Haley, and the case that I studied was Mills versus Board of Education, District of Columbia, 1972. The issue: District of Columbia had excluded children with exceptionalities from participating in school by expelling the students for behavior that was a result of their exceptionality. The school did this without giving them due process and then did not provide a way for them to receive an education elsewhere. There were 7 families that went together to sue the school, but it is estimated from the District of Columbia Public Schools that 12,340 students with exceptionalities were not served in the 1971 through 1972 school year. The plaintiffs: there were 7 students who were excluded from the District of Columbia Public Schools that parents came together to stand up for their students' educational rights. All of the students had exceptionalities, were African American, and their families did not have the resources to pay for the students to attend a private school. Peter Mills. Peter is one of the plaintiffs, and he was a 12-year-old student who was a ward of the District of Columbia. In his 4th grade year, he was excluded from Brent Elementary School on March 23, 1971. Peter allegedly had behavior problems and was excluded by the principal. He was not provided with due process hearing, and his status had not been reviewed in a timely manner. The District of Columbia Public Schools have not allowed him to reapply or provide a way for him to attend a private school. Dwayne Blackshear. Dwayne is a 13-year-old who is a resident at Elizabeth Hospital. He was excluded from Giddings Elementary School in October of 1967. The district did not provide due process or review his status in a timely manner. Despite many attempts by his mother, Dwayne remained primarily excluded from public education until February of 1971. The Child Study Center determined that Dwayne should be able to return to the general education classroom if provided with support, so the district allowed him to come back for a 2-hour days without any diagnosis. Currently, Dwayne is on a wait list for a tuition grant and no longer receiving public education. George Liddell Jr. George is an 8-year-old who has never attended school due to being denied access to Maury Elementary School on the basis that he would need a special education class. Allegedly, George is mentally retarded, and even though he has a medical recommendation that he would benefit from school, he still remains excluded from public education and has not had due process hearing or a timely review of his status. Stephen Gaston. Stephen is an 8-year-old whose family is unable to afford private school. He has been excluded from school since he was in 1st grade in 1969. Stephen allegedly has slight brain damage and is hyperactive. He was excluded due to the fact that he wandered around the room. Despite the attempts of his parents, he remains on a wait list to receive a grant for tuition or to be readmitted to the school. Michael Williams. Michael is a 16-year-old and a resident at Elizabeth Hospital. He is epileptic and allegedly slightly retarded. He has been excluded from Sharp Health School since October of 1969 when he was hospitalized. He has since been excluded based on health problems and attendance. Despite his physician's opinion that he is able to attend school, he remains on a tuition grant waitlist. Janice King. Janice is a 13-year-old who has been excluded from public education since reaching compulsory attendance age due to a lack of appropriate program. Allegedly, Janice has brain damage and is retarded. She still has not received a due process hearing or has her status been reconsidered. As a result, Janice has not received public education. Jerome James. Jerome is a 12-year-old that has been completely excluded from public education as a result of allegedly being retarded. Defendants have not given Jerome due process or reviewed his status in a timely manner. As a result of this, Jerome remains on a tuition grant waiting list and does not receive any publicly supported education. The defendant. The District of Columbia Public Schools have the responsibility of providing a public education to all students, and this includes students with an exceptionality. The district stated that they would provide the students with an education and meet their needs with special education and tuition grants. Judgment. The judge ruled in favor of the plaintiffs and said that the Board of Education of Columbia must provide a free education or a suitable alternative, paid for by the board, to all students regardless of needs or cost. Also, a child with a disability could not be denied education without a due process hearing. A student could not be suspended for more than 2 days without a hearing, and during the suspension, the student must be provided with educational support. Impact on special education. This ruling helped lay the foundation for free and appropriate education, which is now part of IDEA. Millions of students with special needs were not receiving special education support prior to this, and the rulings helped change the expectation to where students' needs were met with special education. References. Thanks for watching my presentation.